coaches on my staff, and so I'll certainly be an aid to not only Coach Howell but to Coach and I'll help any way that I can to make sure the plans are exactly how they're supposed to be. My main role is to continue to increase their capability to have the players do what they're supposed to do.
As far as the pressure on these kids, it's, the pressure 4 weeks ago is very different than the pressure now. How do you keep them from getting too stressed out, too uptight, and just because a lot of times that just ends up resulting in more mistakes?
I'm not sure exactly what the way that social media is, and that's how this generation communicates, and it's so interactive. Some of the things that the kids have shared with me is I'm not a social media person, and they're pretty cruel. And so my advice to them is to not participate, but that's this generation's mode of communicating. And so the best thing I think I can do is make sure that our football offices and practice and the culture here is a place they want to be. And it's a sanctuary to do something they love and to work very, very hard and be unified with their teammates, as there's not much of that they're getting elsewhere.
And I would guess that guys like the captains and Christian and some of these guys are probably taking feel a lot of responsibility on their shoulders to make sure their units are having success. How do you keep that in balance as far as the pressure, as pressure goes in that sense?
I've just tried to share with them that my responsibility as the head coach is to help them all be most prepared, and really I've designed the organization and brought in the people, and the way we've performed so far, regardless of circumstances, is really my responsibility. I would love to have ownership from the players, but I don't want them to shoulder that to the point where they think it's their fault or anything. That's my job. And I'd like to just help them and encourage them to where they feel capable and anxious to play the next game and to play the sport they love.
What was the internal debate like to last week make the decision to call the plays and now to relinquish those again?
It's pretty simple. With the type of offense that Boise State ran, with our current personnel, with the current state of our team, there had to absolutely be another resource in the room. And so there's been 4 since I've left at the beginning of the year, and there needs to be more. And so I'll play more of an active role in there, but I thought I could help more immediately for that week in that spot, and trying to get the team ready. As a result of that, I knew there would be trade-offs in other places, and currently with this team, that's kind of what happens. And so some of game management was part of that, and I didn't feel good about that part.
As far as the game management perspective, with the go fast, go hard offense over the last year and a half, 2 years, basically, now that you've been running that, the defense has appeared to get worn down last year. The depth and execution issues this year. How much is there a correlation just because of what the offense is doing, and how do you kind of evaluate that?
Yeah, I think in all of college football, faster offenses go, defensive numbers are going up, not down. A year ago, we did a really nice job of maintaining the points and yards per play, which are really the 2 metrics that I care about most. And so we stayed really, for the past 3 or 4 years, the top 4 in the country in both those metrics. But we did start to get wore down, and we played a lot more plays. So now you add some youth, some injuries, some new responsibilities for coaches with now more plays. All that is harder. And so the key is now to continue to groom, to fit the pieces as necessary, not only in tempo but execution offensively, to match what we're capable of doing defensively and special teams wise. So this has just highlighted a few things that started to show up a year ago.
As far as the offensive success, has that made the trade-off worth it? You mentioned the trade-off earlier. Does that make the trade-off worth it? Or?
So there's a couple of metrics. To me, most important is points, and we are doing a better job of scoring points. But yards per play reflects efficiency. And what I'd really like to see is the yards per play increase to reflect efficiency, which then leads to possession time, which then leads to more productivity, which then the defense will still play a lot of plays, but not quite as many as they're playing.
How does this Blue Raiders team look like the team that you faced last year? Are they similar?
Similar in terms of scheme and personnel. A lot of the same guys. They're having success. I think 5-3 at this point. And certainly capable. As I've tried to share so many times, our focus right now is really just on improving our team. And I've got a lot of work to do for the guys to enjoy playing the game, to feel anxious to just go out and perform well, and to enjoy the whole experience. And that's the biggest challenge right now.
The losing is so difficult. You get the sense that everybody's still on the same page
Oh,
and
yeah.
looking forward to the next game.
I do. Man, we're all competitors, coaches and players, and so each person goes through kind of their own grieving process, so to speak. Coaches have to do it fast, and players are normally more resilient. And so, but I don't sense any splintering, wavering, segmenting. I sense resolve and how fast can we play again is kind of what I'm sensing.
How important is it to get off to a good start in this next game after kind of that tough start against
Yeah.
Boise State, so they don't feel, here we go again?
Yeah, I don't think there's a here we go again mentality. We got a goal to start fast in all of our games, so nothing really changes that way. But I think it helped.
Anything else?
Okay.